where TBR piles go to multiply. Hey there, book lovers, and welcome to Jeny and the Bets Talk Books. We're Jeny and Betsy, your literary enablers. Every month, we're diving into amazing reads, swapping recommendations, and basically giving you permission to add just one more book to that teetering stack on your nightstand.
Welcome to Jeny and the Bets Talk Books. So why don't you just grab the episode and say what we're going to do?
All right, so we are putting our toes in on romance, focusing a little bit more on what is known as chick lit.
Yes, we talked about everything that romance encompasses.
Yeah.
All of my favorites are not going to be
Complete chick lit.
complete chick lit.
Well, I have the history of romance in general.
Okay.
So you're probably going to fit in somewhere.
Okay, give it to us.
So the early romances, of course, is Jane Austen, Louisa May Alcott, your Bronte. That is considered kind of that start of the romance novels. Always had the happily ever after. Women in these stories are usually rewarded for being individual and overcoming their struggles. It helped women tied down by the social norms of the time feel escape and a little inspiration.
So you said Bronte?
Yeah, Jane Eyre,
Jane
she's rewarded for being an individual,
Though she ends up with him in the end.
which is happily ever after, isn't it?
Is a version.
Yes,
He's deformed and decrepit.
I know. But reader, I married him.
Oh, but lovely on the inside.
Yes,
Mr. Rochester.
exactly. But that's kind of where it began, was you've got your Jane Eyres and you've got your Sense and Sensibility and all of those. When you think about it, you've got kind of plucky young women that were outside their
The norms.
Yes. Then we move into the rise of the historical romance. Of course, history, romance. But then after that, next is gothic romance. And so you may have heard of one of those most famous, which is Rebecca.
Okay, yeah.
Then we mid-1900s at this point, so 1950, 1960, let's say. Now we have the romances, but we need an exotic location and a fun career like flight attendant.
That was in the 1950s.
60s, yeah.
60s. What are some, do you have examples?
I don't. I do have an example coming up.
Okay, all right, keep going.
But they were just kind of, again, we're giving the women escape and inspiration in different levels. So the earliest is Jane Eyre, and then you can go into the Rebecca, which was the gothic and the scary and the spooky.
Yeah.
And then 50s, 60s was more, again, I can be anything. I can be a flight attendant. The first, what is known as a bodice ripper, was in 1972 is Kathleen Woodwith's The Flame and the Flower.
I would not have gotten that. I've never heard.
Yes, I looked it up. This is where you start to mix historical with strong independent women characters. And when I say bodice ripper, that is, of course, the famous covers that you see where the women...
Yeah,
Fabio, all the things. And again, in my research found that sometimes those had questionable male characters.
Same war.
Well, a lot of times they involved the men doing things to women that we don't like.
Okay, say less.
And so I think those, we've kind of moved away from those.
Yeah.
So you have your bodice rippers, historical, the fiery, young, raven-haired woman, that kind of thing. And at the same exact time as we have bodice rippers, we now have our scandalous books like Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Suzanne. So you've got two very different romancy, strong women going on.
Yep.
All right, so we kind of stay there. Harlequin romance, 1980s, all the things are happening.
Okay.
Then in the 1990s, this is where we get chick lit.
Okay.
It comes from a Princeton University course called Female Literary Tradition. It was like if you and I were at Princeton, we'd be like, hey, what's on your schedule? Oh, I've got chick.
Oh, is it the abbreviation for the...
Correct. And of course, the most famous one is Helen Fielding's Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yep.
Another very famous one was Candace Bushnell's Sex and the City.
I always forget that was a book.
Yes.
The series.
Started as a book, and then Sophie Kinsella's Shopaholic. Those kind of rounded out the very first thing. And that is, of course, marketed towards 20-somethings focused on romance, but they always, their careers and urban setting. So even Devil Wears Prada, you don't see it as super romance, but it's got those elements of.
Yeah. I want to read Sophie Kidnell. I think she just passed away.
What?
Yes. She wrote the Shopaholic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's English.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She recently passed away.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh, great.
I want to read some of hers.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of where we left off research-wise. Now we have the various genres.
Okay. Okay.
So yours may fit more chick lit than you realize if you've got urban, the urban and all the things.
I think when we talked about 3 that are our favorites and then 3 that we just want to talk about for another reason. Yes. Not necessarily favorites, but need to bring it to the table for one reason or another.
Correct.
Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay. Will you go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
So in the spirit of Bridget Jones's Diary, which at the time that I read it, definitely went down the rabbit hole of those type of books, British, plucky, all the things.
Okay.
One of my all-time favorites is by Marian Keyes, and it's Lucy Sullivan is Getting Married.
Okay. Tell me about this.
Lucy Sullivan and her friends go to a psychic. Psychic predicts she's going to get married within the year. She laughs because she is very single and her life is a mess, right? No time for getting married. But suddenly the predictions that the psychic made for her friends start to come true.
Okay.
And now she is thinking maybe this is going to happen. And will she be Mrs. by the end of the year? And of course, chick lit tropes. We've got disaster dates. We've got personal issues. We've got family dynamics.
Is it told in like a linear structure? Do you remember?
If I remember, yes, it's linear. And then this is one of her standalones.
Okay.
So Lucy Sullivan is Getting Married is standalone, but Marian Keyes also wrote kind of some chick lit within.
Because I feel like her name is
the family. Okay. So there's the Walsh family series, which is Watermelon, Rachel's Holiday, Angels, anybody out there? Again, Rachel, there's a whole bunch of hers that were a Walsh family series. And then she also has like Sushi for Beginners. And she has several standalones.
Okay. I feel like the name of the author is very familiar to me, but I do not think I've ever read anything by her. But would you recommend starting with this one?
Lucy Sullivan is Getting Married is my favorite.
Okay.
Watermelon is probably my next.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is her early books, so check the copyrights. Her early book do fit straight chick lit. 20-something British, but then I think the author got older.
Okay. She
And
got some more depth.
And the characters got older, and it's no longer, will I be getting married? It's bringing in the other things that happen 20 years down the road. So divorce, things like that start with some of her characters. So I wouldn't say that this one's hilarious. This one is funny. Watermelon's funny. Again, the like Bridget Jones exact genre. But I will say just kind of check your copyrights because her older ones are a little more like 30-something.
Okay.
Midlife, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, the first one I want to talk about, and I'm going to go to the Jeny school of, I guess I'm going to go for copyright date. Actually, this is not necessarily the order that I read them in, but the publication date was 1977.
Whoa. I didn't do that this time.
Okay. Publication date was 1977, and I wonder if you're going to know by the time I said. So the author is Colleen McCullough.
So I feel like it falls into bodice rippers. Is it a bodice ripper?
It is the Thorn Birds.
Okay.
Which I guess is sort of.
Yeah.
So I picked this for, I'm not sure why. I picked it for book club. Maybe I saw it on someone else's list or whatever.
You probably remember like your mom loving the series.
The series.
That's what I remember.
Well, I remember the movie, like Richard Chamberlain and Jane Seymour. Was Jane Seymour? No. Who was the girl? Anyway, but it's a sweeping multi-generational saga set primarily, and I'm not going to say this correctly, Drogheda, a fictional sheep station in the Australian outback. So place is very important here. There's a lot about the scenery and the word life of everyone. So it starts in 1915 and goes through 1969. So it's kind of one of those sweeping things and follows the Cleary family. And Maggie is their only daughter. And so the romance part of this book is the forbidden, passionate love between Maggie and Father Ralph de Brissart. Am I saying that? Brickassart? A Catholic priest, torn between his devotion to God and his love for Maggie. So I am going to guess the Catholic Church is not a fan of this book. But so many people were. So themes of sacrifice, ambition, family secrets, the price of pursuing one's dreams over duty. It's the best-selling book in Australian history.
Wow.
With any book. It sold over 33 million copies worldwide. And it was, here we go. It was adapted into a 1983 miniseries starring Richard Chamberlain and Rachel Ward. That's who, yeah.
Okay. I just knew I was a mini series because I can remember like getting sent to bed because the next one was coming on and I had to go to bed.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the forbidden love story. Anything with that forbidden angle, and obviously this isn't a big no for romance with a priest.
But I would say it follows that romance because the 70s were kind of the scandal, but also historical fiction.
Yeah.
The historic meets the romance. So you've got history.
And I feel like this was not like, I feel like there's very passionate, but I do not feel like it was super open door as I remember.
Probably not.
I don't like that. And so I feel like I would not have liked this so much. But as I look back on what I've read, I'm like, that was a damn good book. It's really long. And I'm not sure who does it on audio, but if it was somebody with an Australian accent, that might be cool.
Ooh, that would be neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. Your next one?
So my next one, and really what I did for the most part for this was to go in my Goodreads and find my like 5-star reviews or my solid 4. I did discover I don't give many 5-star apparently, but one that I have given 5 stars to is Abby Jimenez, and I know she's one of the big ones right now, so I'm probably not telling our listeners anything they don't know. I've read all of hers. But the one I gave 5 stars to was Just for the Summer.
Okay, I don't think that's what I read. Tell her.
Okay. It is actually in her Part of Your World series number 3.
Okay, I think I read the first one in that.
Okay. So Justin is the guy girls date, break up with, and then the next person they date, they marry. Okay. Emma is the same. And so Emma and Justin find each other. She slides into his DMs or whatever the children do these days. But they talk and they think, well, if we date each other, we'll break our curse. So if I'm the person guys date and break up with and then marry the next person, and you're the one girls date, break up with, if we date each other, when we break up, the next person we meet will get married to.
I think I know what happens.
And so she's a travel nurse and he ends up in Minnesota. He's in Minnesota. So of course, yes, just for the summer, they're going to date each other.
What made this your favorite for you out of all of them?
Setting. So pretty much all her books are in Minnesota, which of course I've lived and went to college up in Minnesota and just love it. But this is the only one where there's a little tiny chapter where they visit a little town in Wisconsin. And I don't want to give away too much information, but if you read it, you will know where I went to high school.
Okay. So it was the hometown aspect for you.
Correct. Okay. So there is a little zany scene over in the little town I went to high school.
Are all the books set in Minnesota?
Yeah, she's from Minnesota. She has a cupcake shop.
Oh, I think I've read the first one about the woman who her car breaks down.
Yes.
It's not part of that series.
That's part of your work.
Yes, I really liked that.
And again, it's the Minnesota setting is part of my love for it. And then, of course, the even more obscure. But again, it fits everything. It's got the life is a mess, family dynamics. I mean, it's that same thing going on. But this is, like I said, number 3. Part of Your World's number 1. Yours truly is number 2. And it's another thing I love about her books is within that realm, you don't have to have read them. They're not really a series.
That's a good point to make.
The characters bump into each other. And I just love that.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. So you could start anywhere in that and be fine.
Correct. But you're going to see the crossover if you read that.
Okay, my next one was published in 2003, and I think I read it when it pretty soon after it came out. And I wish I had how to say the names of this, but the author is Audrey Niffenegger.
I have no clue.
Okay. And it was a movie. It was The Time Traveler's Wife. You ever read it? You didn't like it?
I
Oh my
don't.
gosh, the look on your face.
I don't like time
And
travel.
travel.
We talked
Okay,
about this.
okay.
No, I did not like that.
Okay, well, I loved it enough for both of us. And it is another unconventional love story about Henry de Tamble. And he's a librarian with a genetic disorder. So sometimes people do this time travel with like wormholes or whatever. But the unique thing here is he's got a genetic disorder called chronodisplacement that causes him to time travel. But also what's fun is he does it unpredictably. So Claire Avishire is an artist who's known Henry since she was 6 years old. And this is maybe slightly creepy, but a future version of him visited her. I mean, they didn't date, obviously, but I mean, that's how she met him. And then it alternates between their perspectives as they navigate their relationship across time. So he first meets her when she's 20 and he's 28. But she's already been in love with him for years because of the future Henry who visited her throughout her childhood. Which now that I'm reading this description, I'm like, well, that's kind of creepy, but it wasn't when you read it. So it sold over 2.5 million copies, not as much as the Thorn Birds at 33 million, but it was also a 2009 film starring Rachel McAdams and Eric Bana. Did you see the movie?
No.
You're just not going to have anything to do with this because it's time travel. Okay, there's an HBO series as well, but I didn't read that. So I liked the book a whole lot better than I liked the movie. And I like time travel, and I'm not afraid to say it. So there. Okay, so that was my second one.
Okay, so this author, again, I just feel like I'm not bringing anything new to the table in this episode,
Okay.
but I had to go with favorites, solid. I've read every book they've written.
Okay.
And then since I shouted out Minnesota and Wisconsin for their settings, I am going to go with a Houston hometown favorite, Katherine Center.
Okay, you have just made my decision because I was going to pick between two, and I'm not going to, I'm going to tell, when you tell yours, I'm going to tell my favorite of hers.
Okay, so my favorite of hers was my first read,
Which is?
The Bright Side of Disaster,
Okay.
2006. So, it is, I think I liked it because I had a baby. And it's about a girl that she's pregnant, she's engaged, she has a fiance, everything's going well. He leaves to go get cigarettes and never comes back.
Is that because he died?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, then this maybe isn't the one I read.
Correct. No, you're thinking The Lost Husband.
I'm thinking of The Lost Husband. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep talking.
It was her first book too, I think. Okay, so she's pregnant, has a fiance. This is the life I'm having. It's wonderful. He leaves to get cigarettes, never comes back. So the very next day she goes into labor, has a baby. So now she is navigating being a single mother. She's meeting moms in the mom groups. Of course, there's a cute neighbor. And again, we have life in chaos, family dynamics, all of the things in a chick lit kind of story. But something does happen that she has to decide. Do we go with the life we had planned or the life that we're building?
Is this one set in the Houston Heights too?
I feel like, I don't want to get too specific, but I almost felt like when I read it, I remember thinking it was Timber Grove.
Is the neighborhood in Houston?
I felt like I drove past the house described in the book sometimes when I was over there driving through Timber Grove. I'd be like, I think that's the house she described. But yes, it is that area.
Okay.
So she was living in that area at the time,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
And now not so much. But that sounds kind of creepy that I know these things. But I have heard her speak several times.
Me too. Not several times, but once.
I think I've heard her twice now.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So can I tell which one's my favorite?
Yes.
Because this is okay. Do you want to say anything else about yours?
I was just gonna kind of list some of her other titles if anyone
You do
needed
that.
them.
You do that, and I'll say with the okay.
Okay, so in order, since I started with her first, and her first was still my favorite.
Okay.
It has a ducky on the cover. You
Oh,
would
I
know
know,
it in like
yeah.
toothbrushes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are you reading them in order that you liked them?
I'm reading them in order that I read them
Okay,
actually,
all right,
but
good.
because every single one gets the same ranking.
Okay.
Everyone is beautiful. Get lucky. Lost husband. Happiness for beginners. How to walk away. Things you save in a fire. What you wish for. The Bodyguard. Hello, stranger. Rom-commers. Love haters. And apparently she has a new one coming out. I have not read it. The Shippers, out in 2026.
Okay. I've got on my TBR Things to Save in a Fire.
Yes.
Okay. I've read The Lost Husband, and I think I may have read The Bright Side of Disaster, but I might have to revisit that now. But My favorite one was 2022's The Bodyguard. Hannah Brooks is an executive protection agent who looks more like a kindergarten teacher than someone who could take you down. She's hired to protect a superstar actor named Jack Stapleton from a middle-aged and corgi breeding stalker. And so when Jack's mom gets sick, he goes home to the family's Texas ranch and doesn't want his family to know about the stalker, so she pretends to be his girlfriend. And then, of course, and you might imagine, they spend more time together and their fake relationship becomes something much different. So I really liked this because it took something that could have been, I mean, does have a certain degree of schmaltz, but that could have been like really schmaltzy and like, it's like, I believed it. Yeah. I believed it.
I enjoyed that one.
And so I just want to talk about my third favorite, which I still need to say it.
Yeah.
I said this.
Please.
Is another spin on that take by a different author named Annabel Monaghan. And obviously I'm not telling anybody about a hidden jewel here, but it's Nora Goes Off Script.
But that is the best one of hers, I think.
So same thing. So Nora Hamilton's a divorced mom of two. She writes scripts for the Romance Channel. And so her husband leaves her and she writes a personal script about her failed marriage that she has hopes of being like kind of more her breakout film, because it's like less about romance and more about real life. And then the former sexiest man alive, Leo Vance, is cast as her ex-husband, and it films at her home, and they fall in love, and it's awesome. I liked the obstacles she put in their way. I loved her kids.
That one is good. I like all of hers.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about three.
We are, except that one of the three I picked, because I thought it was a standalone, and it was just one that I've been chasing the high ever since. And then when I really was researching it, she's written a whole bunch more books. And I was like, well, apparently I don't know how to use a search engine. So this one is called Dear Emmy Blue.
Okay.
It is by Leah Lewis.
Okay.
We read it in my book club.
Okay.
It is one of those books that at Christmas, when I give away my favorite book to people as a gift, it was given out.
Oh, it was your favorite book of that year.
Okay. When she's 16, she releases a balloon with her name and address.
Okay.
It's from the schoolyard. It's what we do in schoolyards, right?
Yep.
Didn't they used to do that?
I don't know if I ever released a balloon with my name in it, but it sounds like a cool thing to have done.
She did. It was found in France. So she's in England. It's found in France by Lucas. A friendship blossoms because he does write her back.
I read this.
They have this wonderful friendship. He's kind of the one wonderful thing in her life. It is now 14 years later. Of course, her life is in chaos. Of course, there's family dynamics. And Lucas reaches out and says he has a big question for her.
And she thinks, I remember this.
Yes. And so she heads on over. And of course, it's not the question we all think it is, or she thinks it is, at least. I think as a reader, we were like, I'm pretty sure that's not the question. But yeah, and it was just the sweetest read. I mean, there's some stuff that goes on.
She's kind of like a Bridget Jones type character.
Yeah,
she's
a
super
mess.
Funny.
Yes, and
quirky.
she's a quirky. Life's in chaos.
I want to go back to. I really liked that book, and I don't remember seeing that I'd ever written it down, but I know I've read it. Never read it.
Yeah, and we talk about it at my book club sometimes. We're like, we need another Dear Emmy Blue. Well, apparently this lady has written like 5 other books, so I have some to be read because I would like to see if it's in the same style. But it is, again, yes, and it has some tough topics, but I think it's written in such a way that it doesn't feel heavy. But it was just
okay. I'm sorry. You said the name of the book and the author, right?
Dear Emmy Blue, by Leah Lewis. Okay. But it's one of those you hug at the end. You just deep sigh and you hugged it.
Yeah, very satisfying ending.
Yes.
So I just want to talk about this. My first one is a book that it was also a book club pick. It was an interesting conversation, but I could not get on board with it, and I still think about it perplexed. Not necessarily perplexed, but okay, whatever. Okay, it's a book called Redeeming Love by Francine. Are you familiar? Okay, so you have the same thing.
We bring it up all the time. Like,
okay, she's a lineage of grace. It's right there, and it's like a series about women in Jesus' genealogy, and I love it. I love it. She reimagines their lives, and I love it. This is a reimagining of the biblical story of Hosea and Gomer. She sets it during the California Gold Rush of 1850, so obviously it's not set in biblical times. But retells the biblical story of Hosea and Gomer, which is not a great story. Sarah, who is the protagonist, she's also called Angel, was sold into prostitution as a child and has survived by keeping her hatred alive. When Hosea, there you go, this guy's last name there, feels God calling him to marry her and love her unconditionally, she cannot believe such a love exists. And I believe he came across her once she was already in her career of prostitution.
Oh, yes.
So she repeatedly runs away, returning to her former life, unable to accept grace. And so the novel explores the themes of unconditional love, redemption, abuse recovery, and the relentless love of God. I'm all about the relentless love of God, but this was a lot in the retelling of the story. And I just got so mad at both of them. And I feel like you're nodding your head, so you feel the same.
I am.
Yeah. So it sold over 3 million copies, almost as much as The Time Traveler's Wife, and was adapted into a 2022 film, which I can't even bring myself to watch. She read it as her first book after becoming a born-again Christian. So I want to say this book was not for me. It doesn't sound like it was for you either.
For the same reason.
For the same reason. Just so depressing.
I don't want to ruin the end, but I like what she did with herself.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't feel like that's spoiling too much.
No, I don't either. But yeah, Francine Rivers, your Lineage of Grace series is awesome. I cannot get on board with this one.
There is a movie of it.
Which I'm not going to watch. Not going to watch it. Okay, what's yours?
Well, okay, so was I supposed to do one like that
I think there could just be 3 that you want to talk about for whatever reason whatsoever.
Okay, so I'm doing an offshoot into one of my favorite things, which is YA, young adult.
Okay, I'm going to do that too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I thought I was being so creative.
Okay.
And of course I'm bringing up my favorite person, Sarah Dessen. I picked my favorite of hers, The Truth About Forever. Macy's looking forward to a quiet summer. She wants to, boring job, SAT prep, boyfriend's out of town. She's grieving the loss of her father, just wants to spend some time with her mom. But as we know, if you want to make God laugh, make plans. And so what happens? She gets a job with a catering company. Suddenly she's working with a really fun crew of people, making new friends, and of course, meeting a new boy. And just kind of opening her eyes to a world that's out there when she's lived a pretty sheltered life. And so I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
So that's it. But I love all Sarah Dessen books.
Sarah Dessen, if you ever listen to this, you need to send Jeny your newest book that's coming out that she's very excited about.
She probably remembers me fangirling at Texas Library Association conference about 2005.
So my favorite person, I think, is Dreamland. It's more, as I remember, it's a darker one for her.
She, again, as it went later in her life, I think writers bring it in. A lot of them. Jane Green, who started out light, gets dark. It just happens. We get older. Things change. But yes, I love Sarah Dessen. It's a great YA. Hugging the book at the end.
Okay, well, I'm going to do my YA pick, and this is a book and a series that I have liked the older I get. But it is a phenomenon, and my daughter really liked the Prime series, and it's The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. What are your thoughts about this book?
I adored the books. I read them well before the series. I saw about 3 episodes of this thing, and it went so far off the rails that I went, no, thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'm being tainted by the book. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being tainted by the series because I remember liking it, and then I don't like her name's Belly. I don't like the Conrad and Jeremiah. I don't like the whole bad boy trope. So in case you're under a rock, this is a trilogy following Isabel Belly Conklin, who spends every summer at Cousins Beach with her mother, brother, and her mother's best friend, Susanna, and Savannah's 2 sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. The summer she turns 16, she's noticed by these boys that she's loved her whole life. And in the rest of the series, they're both it's a love triangle. It was a hugely popular Amazon series from 2022 to 2025. With a Taylor Swift heavy soundtrack. They know their demo. Mm-hmm. And it was Amazon's most watched title globally. And a film continuation was announced in 2025. So we are not done with these people yet. I know. I think it's going to go past the books, or maybe Jeny Hand's writing the movie. But yeah, I was on the hype train, and now I'm not, and I wonder if it's an age thing.
Wait, I missed. Did you read first and then see the show, or did you show first then read the book?
I don't think I read the whole series, and I think I watched some episodes of the show, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just the whole idea for me. And I think, again, it might be an age thing, because I remember being into it when I first read it.
I feel like I read that trilogy well before it was even talks of it becoming a show.
Okay, what's your third one?
Okay, so my last one. So as I was thinking chicklet, and I was remembering that little rabbit hole, I went down and I wanted to read only British chicklet, yeah, and that's kind of how I found Marian Keyes, and I'd read Bridget Jones. And so there was this author that I read, and y'all know her now as a suspense psychological thriller writer, but her first books were chicklet. And one of my favorites was Ralph's Party.
Who is this?
Lisa Jewell.
Yes. I feel like I saw the other day, I was looking up her backlist, and I was like, wait, that's not the, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so then when I started seeing the family upstairs and we're all lying here, all those, and I just remember thinking, is this the same person? But Ralph's Party was very much 1990s. Imagine Friends, but in London. And you've got Ralph, who's in love with Jem, but Jem is dating his best friend Smith. But Smith used to date the girl in the apartment above that, Sherry, and Sherry actually likes the married guy. I mean, so they're all in this brownstone turned into apartments, and it's just 6 characters, star-crossed lovers, love triangles, all of that. But again, the quirky, the family dynamics, and life in chaos, and it all culminates at Ralph's Party. Yes.
Okay.
And she also had 30 Nothing, which was, I read that one as well. So she had a couple before she took the turn and went the other direction.
Do you like her better as one or the other?
I guess because she really only did 2 of the kind of chicklet.
Yeah.
I think there was one that I have not read in doing my research a little bit. I can't remember the title now. I should have written it down. But it was like one where she was chicklet, but it had started to maybe take that turn towards mystery.
Okay.
And then she just took off the other way.
Yeah.
But I probably have read more of her as a psychological thriller person, suspense, all of that.
I have some of her books in my Kindle, and maybe I'll do one for our Kindle Graveyard episode, but I can't remember the name of the book. Maybe it was Then She Was Gone, about the 16-year-old disappeared.
Yes.
I stopped reading because I was so horrified, and I didn't finish it. But I found out what happened. And I was like, done. Can't do this.
Yeah.
It was too dark for me.
Okay.
So I don't know if all her books are that dark. Like I said, I've gotten some off like a 99-cent Kindle download, so I might have to try another one. I don't even mind dark if it gets redeemed at the end.
She's one that I kind of pick up at the library. I don't necessarily buy them all the time.
Yeah. Well, again, like I talked about my comfort read as like I have a thriller comfort genre. And yeah, it gets too dark for me.
No Karen Slaughter for you.
Was that Pretty Girls? Yeah, I did finish that, and I'll never be the same. Yeah, never be the same. I'm scarred for life. Okay. So my last one, I'm going to... Wait, did you want to say anything else about that?
No, I just thought it was a fun fact.
Okay.
Like everyone should know. And Ralph's Party, it's good. If you like Friends, you will like Ralph's Party.
Okay. So my last one, I'm going to take a pivot. I was memoir is a love story. And I know that we're going to do a full memoir episode, but
Okay.
I'm not going to save it for that because you got me listening to some others. But
Okay.
this is called How to Stay Married, the Most Insane Love Story Ever Told by Harrison Scott Key. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
I really think you would like it. So it's a memoir about he's a Thurber Prize winning humorist, like the author is, wrote about the near collapse of his marriage after discovering his wife's affair with a neighbor. So it is like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, and he got his wife's permission to say this, that he's on Instagram, they're on Instagram together, like they still post stuff, but it's like, holy crap, like this is like, I can't believe that you got to say this, and I can't believe that. So a lot of humor, a lot of honesty, raw honesty, talks about the revelation, the journey through anger and grief, and their path towards reconciliation, talks about faith, forgiveness. There's religion in this too, and what it means to stay married when everything's falling apart. That has a chapter written by his wife, as well, which is so interesting. So it's the most unlikely romance ever, but it's one of my favorite, I think, that I've ever read, just because I was gobsmacked by how honest he was about everything. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot. So that's my last one.
Okay. So when you said memoir as kind of romance, I thought you were, because I almost picked a Jen Lancaster book. Remember hers were all like Bitter is the New Black.
Oh, yeah.
And hers were all memoirs, but they had that chick lit kind of feel, but there wasn't a whole lot of romance. I guess there is where she met her husband in one of them, but I did not choose that. But I do love you, Jen Lancaster. I love your stuff too. She's written some fiction as well.
Okay.
I think we might be reading the same book. Are we going to go over what we're reading right now?
Talk about what we're reading right now.
I'm pretty sure we're reading the same book.
Okay. What is it?
Are you reading Anatomy of an Alibi?
Yes. So I'm only on chapter 4, and I was like, where's this going? But I love that. I know it's going to go someplace good. Have you finished it?
I am a mere, like, probably 30 pages out, and I was going to try.
Wait, 30 pages from the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to try to finish, but I set up my book fair because, you know, we love all books in this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was setting up the book fair. So
Oh, okay.
I'm almost there. I don't always do well with nonlinear timelines.
Uh-huh.
And so I may have to go back and check a few pages.
Okay, well, you and I are going to have to talk. So it's debuted at number 2 on the bestseller list.
Wow.
So I want to say that I'm very proud of myself because I am going to finish the month having read 6 books as opposed to 4 or 3. So I just wanted to say briefly what I read. So this is a book I borrowed from you, People We Meet on Vacation.
Yeah.
My first one by her.
Emily Henry.
Loved Emily Henry. And then weird book, I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. Have you heard of that? It's a short book.
No.
It was a Netflix series. It's really trippy.
Okay.
Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams. This is a book club pick, and it was about a woman's, it's a sort of a gossipy tome about her time at Facebook. She worked at Facebook from I think for about 7 years. And then Spectacular Things, which I just finished. Have you read that?
Have I?
Okay, it's about the sisters, and one of them is a soccer phenom.
No, I haven't.
Okay, this would have made my top 5 if I had read it last year, but I think you would really like it. It's by Beck Dory Stein.
Okay.
And then I'm Anatomy of an Alibi, and I'm finishing this book called After the Fall, which I thought I was going to love, and I still do like it, but it's 13 hours, which may be too long for me for an audiobook, unless every chapter is a cliffhanger.
After the Fall, did I read that?
It's about a plane crash told in reverse. So there's a plane crash, and it tells you
know.
everything that led up to it.
I don't
It's
think
a
I
lot
read.
of character development.
I'm scared to fly. I'm not going to read that.
We don't.
Okay. Well, I guess so. I am reading Anatomy of an Alibi, but if you're looking at, and I'm listening to The Uncool, a memoir by Cameron Crowe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you start to find out about Almost Famous, like really who it was, and that it is a mix of several things that happened. It wasn't just one band. But if we're going over what I've read in January,
Let's see.
I've done Word to the Wise, Library Lover Mystery number 10. It's my cozy mystery that I love.
Okay.
By Jen McKinley.
Okay.
My Beloved by Jan Karen. It's in the Mitford years.
Okay.
I think there's like 20 of them.
Okay.
Before I Forget
Uh-huh.
by Tori Henwood. It made me cry.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm only going to get 5 in. You got
Okay.
6.
My goal, Jeny, is to try to outreach you.
Oh boy.
It's on. It's on.
Can I count all the books I read at school?
Yes, you can.
The read aloud.
You can.
Count.
Okay, well, that was entertaining. I feel like of all the ones that you've talked about, I want to read that the Abby Jimenez one.
Okay. Well, you should. And then figure out where I went to high school. What town?
I will figure
In
it out.
Wisconsin.
And I think you need to read Spectacular Things. I think you would love it.
Okay.
It was a Reese pick, which that's not why I picked it. But
Yeah.
it's got a really high Goodreads rating.
Okay. I'll put it in my to read list.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is it for us for this month. And then what are we doing for February? I think we said. But...
We're doing memoirs, so you should
memoirs, that's right.
You
Okay.
should be doing your homework.
So a download of the Paris Hilton one that you told me
That's
about.
her homework, guys. She has to listen to Paris.
Paris Hilton. Okay.
And then we'll pick some of our faves.
All right. Well, happy reading, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next month.